Japanese and American troops are preparing for possible military action. These joint exercises, which took place in June, are the largest held on Japanese soil since World War II. Increasing threats from China have the entire Pacific Rim worried the Red Army could soon move on Taiwan, less than 140 miles from Japan's shores. In the same area, Chinese Coast Guard ships have been encroaching on Japanese waters almost weekly. As a counter, U.S., Japanese, and Philippine Coast Guard ships also held maneuvers in June. Ishigaki Island, a popular Japanese tourist destination, could soon become a battleground.
This year will be the biggest year for tourists here on Ishigaki Island that they've seen since COVID. And that's a really good thing for the economy of the island, but what the people that live here are most worried about is an influx of another kind of people caused by an attack on Taiwan.
We are concerned about an influx of refugees in the event of an attack, because we are the closest island to Taiwan. This is an example of China trying to change the status quo by force.
To counter the threat, more soldiers are being moved to bases in the south of Japan.
This new military base just opened here on Ishigaki Island. It's one of the closest ones to the Chinese coast and to Taiwan. It's one of 4 bases that's been built recently to counter the threat from China. This one will be home to more than 500 troops. Most of the people on this island are very pro-military and very happy to have this here, but some people are not, and it's not so much the base itself, it's the kind of troops that they plan to station here.
Locals have been staging protests here because they fear the presence of Japanese artillery batteries would only make the island a target.
Some say it will increase tensions, but I believe it is necessary to strengthen our defenses.
This former Japanese general agrees.
If
Taiwan is annexed, the Chinese army will be stationed there, and we could lose control of the sea lanes that provide 60% of Japan's energy and 40% of its food. So there is already an emergency in Taiwan, and an emergency in Taiwan is an emergency in Japan.
But that doesn't mean Japan is looking for a fight.
The rise of China is causing alarm in democratic governments around the world. And so Japan is trying to show that it's part of the liberal democratic club and that it's doing its share to advance liberal democracy around the world. China is going to lose. China is a godless, militantly atheist country that took over first by massacring its own people. Genocide is the communist way of life, and it's particularly the Chinese communist way of life. It's just how they operate. I'm reading now the former Prime Minister Abe Shinzo's, he was assassinated last year. I'm reading his memoirs that were released posthumously. And he makes that point in his memoirs that Japan needs to do more to shoulder the burden of liberal democracy, especially vis-a-vis China and places like North Korea and Russia. So that's the political dynamic. Under that, I see and I feel the reawakening of the Japanese spirit that has been dormant and that was almost destroyed in the post-war. That has nothing to do with liberal democracy, has nothing to do with Russia or China or North Korea. That's the almost organic sense of being alive in Japan and having a heart that has an ability to feel beauty in the world and to communicate with other spirits in the world. And that's what's coming back.
So Japan, it seems to be building up more troops or military, but if you were to ask any of those people visiting Yasukuni Shrine and came here to pray for the warriors, their minds, they don't think about war. Like if you ask, what do you think about war, almost all of the people would say, no way. So it's not like, oh, we wanted to fight. No, we want peace. So we want to pay respect and peace. So we come here to wanting for peace.
No matter how likely there is to be a war, our job is to stop it. To ensure China's president doesn't miscalculate like Putin did. The point is that if China invades Taiwan, the United States and Japan will have the ability to counter that together.
Chuck Holton, CBN News, Tokyo.
It's like Tokyo, Vegas.